All right, guys, welcome to the podcast today. Introduce myself for the people who don't know me. I'm Rick Stevens.
I'm Julian. Rick, it's always a pleasure to talk shop, man.
Yeah, man, we're just here talking shop. Thank you again for coming. We're doing this for a second time.
Yeah. It's the second go time. I think the first time was more of us getting to know each other, and then now, man, I know a lot more about you. I feel like you know a lot more about me, and now I want to kind of just dive into different topics. I feel like you're such a wealth of knowledge with your experience in a lot of arenas.
I hope I don't disappoint.
Well, the thing is you're old, man. You got time on earth, and
Damn, you just call me old.
You know what it is I talked about this the other day. I really respect you, man, and the reason is because you have a high give a shit factor, and it's a term that I've really stuck to, and I heard it from a guy that I look up to as well. His name's Matt Schneider. He was a former law enforcement officer, and I don't know where he got it from, but this is where I heard it from.
I love it.
Yeah,
I might even steal that too from
Yeah, absolutely. Having a high give a shit factor, and over a career, I can tell your demeanor, your fitness, that you've had that, and I kind of want to talk about that. Let's dive into like, why do you care so much?
I think it has to do with the way I was raised with my mother, because my mother, I don't know if you know about Caribbean parents, they don't play. and I think that was kind of like what was instilled in me, because the little things mattered. It wasn't just, it's don't worry about it. Yes, it mattered. And we had to do, when it came to chores or anything that we had to do, we had to make sure we completed the task to its fullest, and there was always attention to detail. And when I grew up in the fire service, I gravitated towards those type of people that I worked with, and I've worked with great guys that gave a shit, and the little things mattered, and it's just been instilled in me from, I guess, since I was a little child.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I'm full transparency. The story I just told Eric, and we'll talk about that too, with this upcoming ultra misogi that's coming, and we'll talk about what misogi means. But There was a time not too long ago, man, where I'm on a journey of development, and I'm still young. I'm 29 years old, but I was picking and choosing what I gave a shit about. And to anybody out there, that is the quickest way to have a complete disruption in your entire life, because what happens is it bleeds into the areas that you do give a shit about, without you really knowing, right? And you have to stop and realize everything you're a part of is important.
Yes. And
if it's not, don't be a part of it.
And nobody's perfect. I wasn't that way about everything too, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm that way all the time.
Right.
It's something that you say, okay, I'm kind of falling off the horse a little bit. I need to get back on track and start paying attention to the little things again, and
Right. Well, and something simple. I was brought up in the fire service. Shout out to Division Chief Tim Moody and Captain Tony Gillen from Marion County Fire Rescue. Your appearance is important. Your appearance is important. Your physique mirrors your discipline, and your uniform mirrors your attention to the small details. Right. Your uniform being your shirt not wrinkled and faded, your belt lined up accordingly.
That gig line.
The gig line's dialed in. Your pants are fitted. They're not baggy. It doesn't look like you're going to go parachute off a building. And then really fine-tuning the boots and having your boots shined up, right? And, every shift when I worked for Marion County, I would tune up the boots. And man, those boots look good, right? And, I would take pride in that, right? And I kind of lost my way with that little thing.
I did too. Absolutely. You try to get those little shoes shine, but it's not the real thing.
It's not the real thing.
It's not the real thing.
You got to put in the time. It's like anything. If you want something to look nice, it's not going to be quick, right? But I kind of let it go, man. I moved departments. I work for Palm Beach County, and I just kind of lost my way with the little things, man. And I'm like, what else am I missing? What else am I? It doesn't matter.
Your fitness. I don't need to work out today. Your diet. I'll work out harder tomorrow. And those little things start to compound and compound. Next thing you know, you fall off the wagon and you're like, damn. You got to get back on track.
Absolutely, absolutely. So recently, we got the boots back dialed in. I made a post about it not too long ago. And somebody commented, I love this. I love this. Somebody commented, just because your boots are shined doesn't mean you're high speed or a good firefighter. So they said. And I don't disagree with you. It doesn't. But what it does mean is that you care.
And the little things matter.
And the little things matter. So when I show up and whatever time it is, I look like I know what I'm doing, you're more at ease than if I looked up, or if I showed up looking like a mess. I was recently at the fire college, and we were doing some physical fitness in the morning, and it was cold, man. I left Miami. It was 66 degrees. I got to Ocala. It's 45.
Ooh, yeah. Below 50 and I'm worthless, bro.
Man, freezing. And so we're starting PT, and everybody's bundled up because they're cold. But but once we get going, you get warmed up. You start shedding layers, of course. Well, they're just throwing jackets all over the place, and we're like 40 minutes in PT, and I'm looking, and I'm like, this is a mess. It's a mess. So I stop PT. I grab them all up. I say, hey, I say, everybody turn around. So they turned around, and I jacked up my pants. I was wearing a hat. I put my hat like sideways backwards, and like I sort of tucked my shirt in. And I said, all right, guys, turn around. I said, look at me. If I walked up to you guys this morning, you guys had never met me before, and I looked like this, what would you think?
Credibility's gone.
Gone. Completely gone. Like this guy's a clown. And I said, I want you guys to turn around and look at your jackets just thrown around here like this is a yard sale. I said, this is the Florida State Fire College. You put respect on the facilities, on the name, and everything you do here is watched. It's under
even if you think you're not being watched, everybody's watching.
Watching, right? And I hope that lesson sits with them, right? But it's just, man, it's focusing on the little things and having that high coming back to that, having that high give a shit factor is really a must. And where nobody's perfect, right? So I don't want anybody to think that I'm that at all. Kind of bringing the conversation we were having earlier about doubt. I've done a few things. I'm not going to brag on myself, but I've done some things that very few humans have done. And
very impressed with that Leadville 100.
Yeah. Oh, you watched the documentary?
Inspiring.
How was it?
Love it.
It was decent, right?
Love it.
It was.
It told the story of the journey, because, I mean, not knowing what you went through, but I could just only imagine it. But getting to that level of doing something, you have self-doubt. You talk to them, did I do enough? Did I hydrate enough? Did I eat enough? And all those doubts start creeping in, and you just got to just like refocus, and you got to like snap back and get in line and just, I have a mantra that I used to say, no moments of weakness. When I start having those self-doubt or thinking that I'm not good enough, I have a line that I draw back to, no moments of weakness. And I repeat that over and over and over again, and you got to get back in line.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. And I've done, I don't know, 4 or 5 30-mile ultras. I've done 1 or 2 50-mile ultras, and then I've completed 200-milers, attempted 3. So one of them I did not finish at mile 38. But we've got this. I've decided to do a 50-mile run just sporadically, and did this in the next. I think it was the countdown's 10 days or something. But this
really
run,
that soon? Wow, I gotta get my shit together.
It's quicker than I thought. I put the countdown on Instagram today. But I've done this run before, and I DNF'd this run. So the run is basically out and back here in Miami. It's in North Miami, and it goes down to Key Biscayne and back, and it's 25 miles out, 25 miles back. So when you turn around, you know exactly how far you have to go, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because you mentally start fixating on all of those miles.
Yes.
So when I did this 2 years ago, I tapped out at 32 miles. 32 miles. I looked at my wife. She looked at me. I was like, I'm done. Right. 1 a.m. Because I did it at night also again. And we're going to do it at night again. Yeah, well, the night brings on different challenges, right? Your ability to operate tired is different than operating during the day. You're going to have more emotion when you're fatigued. than if you're, normal operating hours. And it's just understanding how to really function in that space to then apply it to work. Because at work, I really see people lose their emotions at night on calls with people, with coworkers, right? And
Absolutely.
it's tough. It's hard. It's not easy. It really isn't. So that, and we got to come back and finish what we started. But I was just talking to Eric, and I told him, I said, hey, 3 days ago, or 3 nights ago, I was like, man, you need to bail out of this. The doubt of like, man, we're not going to do this. What excuse can you use? Like this is all the negative, toxic things that go through my mind, and I want to be transparent about it. That's normal.
Absolutely.
With everything, right? Before I did my first 100, I literally thought about, and I'm different, right? But I thought about, man, you know what? If I jump out in traffic on a training run and get hit by a car,
I won't have to do it. I got a legit excuse.
I got a legit excuse, and that's how crazy doubt is, and that's how crazy the thought of failure really can control a human. And I know everybody out there deals with this, like they let that stop them. And I want you to know that you can't let fear or doubt stop you. It's a normal human emotion, and it's heavy. I mean, I'm sure, going back to the combat challenge days, there was before your runs, man, you probably wanted to puke.
I never puked, but the self-doubt was there because, like, when I first started, you see the guys who are here at that level, and you're like, man, if I could be at that level. And then you have those self-doubts. And then finally, as you get better, you start racing your idols or the people who you used to look up to. And then you're like, you get, not starstruck, but like, oh my God, I'm racing this guy. This guy is so-and-so. And you start having those self-doubts. And then finally, when you just, it will click where you're just like, I belong here. I did the work. I did what I needed to do, and I belong. And when you start racing those guys and then you start beating them, that's when it's like, no, I belong. I shouldn't look at this person in fear.
Right.
They should be worried about me.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And so in that moment at night, my emotions were heavy. They really were. And I was like, you know what? It's been a long day. You're tired. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. So I went to sleep. I woke up, and I had this rush of excitement. Like the fear and the doubt turned into the challenge. And I read this book I'll never forget, and it's by John Eldridge, I think is his name, and then it's I'm pretty sure the name of the book is Brave of Heart. I might have just butchered it, but there's 3 things every man needs.
Do they have an audiobook?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I'll read a book if I need to.
No.
I'm an audiobook kind of guy.
No. We got to get this. We got to get you on this audiobook. So his 3 things every man needs that he focuses and talks about. The first one is a battle to fight. Okay, so every man needs a battle to fight. All right, and that's challenges. Like you got to have challenges.
What's next?
Yeah, exactly. What can I conquer next? What can I work towards? What can I achieve? What can I work on, etc. The next thing is an adventure to have, right? At the end of the day, every man out there is a little kid inside, so we gotta do things that bring us life, that make us happy. And it doesn't always have to involve drinking or drugs. Like you can do things that make you happy, that, are good for you, right? And you need to do those things, put them in your life. And then the third thing is a beauty to rescue, right? Is having somebody that, you love and that you care for, and that is going to be, a part of your life forever. And these 3 things, he really emphasizes on, at what a man needs, like since the beginning of time. So this year, the challenges have been interesting. But aside from me growing my business, I kind of let go of my personal challenges. And you know what? I said, I'm going to go out and do this 50-mile run because I need to prove myself again who I really am.
You still got it.
You still got it. And like I told Eric, because I can, right? Like that's enough reason in itself. Like anybody out there that's scared of doing something or doesn't know if they're going to start now or in the New Year's, like if you're healthy, what's the wait? What are you
Not get any younger.
What are you waiting for? You know, like, you know, they say, you know, when you're healthy, you have 1,000 problems. When you're unhealthy, you have one. You know, you know what I mean? So, so I'm a healthy man. I feel good. I haven't been putting in the miles. So I know, cause you know, what's funny is no matter in this sport, in ultra running, no matter what your level of fitness is, no matter how many ultras you've done, you're going to go into what they call the pain cave. It's a dark, dark cave, and your emotions are heavy, and you're tired, and there's doubt, and you feel weak. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough.
Mentally can drain you.
Yes, absolutely.
Just being in your head, or you overthink things.
You're just in your head. That's what the pain cave is you're in your head deep, right? And no matter who you are in this space, whether you're, I don't know if you've heard of Courtney DeWalter.
No.
She's an amazing ultra runner.
Oh, she's the one that won like the 200 milers,
Yeah.
and she.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
exactly
yeah.
who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I've listened to her podcast.
Yeah. She's a heavy hitter. She goes there too. So anybody in this space goes there. Now, your level of fitness will determine how soon you go there.
Yes.
You know, so whether it's 80 miles in or 40 miles
It's
in,
coming.
You know, it's coming. And the beautiful thing about ultra running, and that's why it's a salute to anybody who partakes in this sport of just one more step, is they literally both go through the same thing. And, you know, I always ask the question, does the person that finished first suffer as much as the person that finishes last?
Wow.
You know, and it makes you think, well, if you think about it, the person that finishes last is surviving, right? The person that finishes first is pushing as hard as they can. So it's like combat challenge. You know what I mean? Like, you're full throttle the entire time. These elite athletes are full throttle the entire time. The people who aren't elite, they're probably not even really supposed to be there, but you know, they're humans are amazing, and they're doing an amazing thing, and they survive and finish. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man. You know, I'm glad you saw the film. Like I said, I think it was put together decently.
Dude, it wasn't bad. I really enjoyed it.
It was engaging.
I never thought like I didn't get distracted. I didn't check my phone. I didn't say I'll watch half now and half later. I watched the entire episode, and I thought it was cool. And I even saw Nick Bears. Shout out to him. I watched a lot of his stuff, and he puts up some good stuff. And I was just, anybody who does 100 miles, 50, whatever it is, dude, hats off.
Yeah, no, it's literally you know, and I'm excited to put my mindset into action when we do this run. It's just one step at a time, man. You know,
That's it.
When I can focus on what's ahead, I'll focus on what's ahead. When that gets overwhelming, we literally put the head down, and it's just your 2 feet moving. That's it. Are we moving? That's it. Progress, right? Progress. Time's moving, right? So the goal is to finish before the sun comes up. If I start at 5 p.m., you know, that gives me till 6 a.m. I would say that's first light, and then sunrise usually 6:30. But the goal is to finish before the sun comes up. So, you know.
So tell me about your training for this event. Do you? I'll use a combat challenge as an example, not because I like talking about it, but that's my reference point. Like, if I'm going to go to Vegas, I know it's a different time zone, so I would try to train when I think I'm going to be going in Vegas in a different time zone, just so I can kind of get acclimated.
Right.
So my body will be
ready.
Will respond better and ready.
Yeah.
Do you run at night to get your body ready, or you don't really change your training at all? You still do?
So yeah, it's tough. So first of all, and that's the thing about, I wanted to bring in the misogi. I don't know if you heard of what the misogi is.
No.
So misogi is a Japanese term, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me. But what it is it's an event or a challenge that you have a higher probability of failing than you do succeeding.
Okay.
And every person in that culture does that once a year.
Oh, every year. Wow.
Every year, right? So it's their misogi of the year. And it's basically, it was created to test the human soul, right? So you're just testing your metal, what you're made of, you know, who you are, right? So you got to make the goal lofty enough. For me, it's not 10 miles, it's 50. You know, I've already run hundreds, you know, like, so, but what makes a 50 a misogi is because I've been putting in 10 to 15 mile weeks where For my 100-mile training, we're talking 30 to 50-mile weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a very big difference. You know, and I'm the biggest I've been. I'm 235 right now. When I ran Leadville, I was 220. When I ran my first 100, I think I was 215. So yeah, there's a lot of it's like anything. If you don't use it, you lose it.
What did you learn? What was the difference between your first one and your second one, where you didn't really accomplish your task the first time? Did you change anything? What did you do different?
Oh man, focus on the moment. So that's another thing too. A road race and a mountain race are two different things.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. There's elevation. There's altitude. I mean, you can't replicate that here.
Yeah, no. So really, you know, it's a couple things, man. So one is intention. You have to be intentional. So this is something that's long term. So what you do now will pay dividends in a couple hours. So I'm not thirsty. I need to drink water. I'm not hungry. I need to put in some calories. You know,
Need those carbs. Need the proper hydration.
Right now I'm not. But this is a machine. I'm literally moving, and I will be. You know what I mean? Like, it's like saying I'm going to Orlando and I got a quarter of a tank right now. You're good now, but you won't be good when you hit, you know,
Palm Beach County or something. You're gonna run out of gas.
right. And then what? Then you're on the side of the road.
Stuck.
Exactly. So that's the same thing in this sport. So it's three things really. So the first thing is intention, right? Being intentional about your nutrition and your hydration and focusing on that. The next thing is being present. You have to focus on the moment. So what happened with me when I DNF'd this exact little run, and this isn't a race, this is just me going out and doing it on my own, but I hit 32 miles and I told myself, you have 18 miles to go, right? And that statement in my head ruined me because I just got overwhelmed. I knew the pain that was associated with those 18 miles, and I was like, no man, we're done, right? Where my mindset should have been, what mile am I at? 32? All right, let's get to 33. Right? That's being present. That's a little goal. And if that was too heavy, let's get to 32 and a half. Right? If that's too heavy, let's just keep moving until we set a goal that's small, right? Small. And really, this applies to anybody in life. When you get overwhelmed, it's all emotion. And emotion versus reality is two different things. The reality is you're fine. You're okay. You know, imagine the hardest thing you've ever done. You're exhausted. You finish in a couple minutes. You're okay.
You're gonna be fine.
You're literally okay. But in your head, you start just getting worked up, and that's what happened there, man. And all I had to do was I didn't implement the mindset that I had developed. And it goes to show you, just because you've done something in the past doesn't mean you can always do it.
It's funny that you say that, because when we do the combat challenge, like let's say you PR, everybody's like, at least for our team, everybody's good job. But we call it the 3 PR rule. You got to do it 3 times. The first time is just luck. The second time is a trend.
Right.
You do it 3 times, it's forever.
Right.
And I strongly believe in that. And that's what worked for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, it's crazy because for the longest time, Rick, you know, I'll be transparent, man. I was the water boy in high school. I was a loser.
I played JV, bro. And I was just like, I don't want to sit there. It was horrible. You know, you invite your girl or your parents to come play, and you're like, well, you probably shouldn't even come. I might not even get in the game. And you're trying to like, and I was like, I don't want to sit the bench.
Right.
I want to be in the game.
Right.
I want to be a difference maker, and that's when you just got to put in work, man.
That's it. So, you know, for the longest time, I had been doing things in my life to prove people wrong. You know what I mean? Like, to prove people, like, I'm going to show you who I am. I'm going to show you who I am. And now I want to show myself who I am. I want to prove to myself, like, no, I'm that guy. I could step into any arena and I can compete. I'm not going to win, but I can compete.
You're going to bring it.
Exactly.
You're going to bring it.
I'm a threat.
Yes.
That's all I ever want to be.
You're not going to be the weakest link in the chain.
No. I want to be a threat. And how this mindset relates to the fire service is really what I want to, send home, is the mindset of going one more, of taking another step, of focusing on the present, is how you have to focus on this career, right? Because it's so overwhelming, man. You've got so many classes, you've got so many levels of fitness, you've got so many different ranks that you can promote to, and it's overwhelming, right? And the one thing you have to do in this career, and I've failed at a couple of these things, is focus on where you're at right now, right? You ask the new pro.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
You ask the probie, oh man, well, what are your goals? Oh, I want to be a chief and I want to do that. And it's like, hold on a second, dude.
Just be a good fireman.
How much water's in that fire truck? Be a good fireman. That's it. Just be a good fireman. And it's the same thing, with this sport, man. It makes you have to be present. You don't stand a chance running anything over, I would say, 10 miles, really, without being present and focusing on the little wins, right? And that's the same thing here in this profession, whatever you're doing, right? The little benchmarks are what brings us success, right? 360 complete, right? Hey, we made entry. Water on the fire. Primary complete, right? Ventilation, we got a vertical ventilation we've completed. Command fires out. Secondary complete. Command overhauls in progress, right? These are all benchmarks, right? So same thing with your fitness, right? You start, and it's overwhelming, especially now. I think with the space of social media, you see these giants, right? You see these giants. Jared Johnson, the guy's a stud. Shout out to Jared. You see Eric Vidal, you see yourself, you see these people that, and there's so many more out there that
too many to name.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of studs out there.
Yeah, a lot of them,
and some of them aren't even on social media. They're just quiet warriors.
Absolutely.
Quiet warriors that just do their thing. They don't post anything. They don't talk about anything. But when you show up on a fire ground, you're like, damn.
That's it. And what I'm saying really here is, like, you can't compare to those people. You have no idea what they were when they started. And that's the thing. You have to stay in your lane, right? You have to little benchmarks. What are your benchmarks? Not theirs, yours. All right? What are they doing? All right, cool. That's where you want to eventually be.
Right.
But right now, you got to build, right? And it's all about building that foundation, building the solid foundation. I know I can finish this run because I've consistently run over the last 5 to 6 years.
Put the miles in. Build that base.
Yeah, exactly. Not to the point where I'm going to go out and crush this, but I'm also not going to get injured. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to hurt. I'm going to have that wobble. I know I'm going to have that wobble after these 50 miles. I'm going to be hurt.
Your knees are going to be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going to be hurting for sure. But with 2 days of rest, I'll be just fine.
Right.
And that's, people will say, how did he go out and do that? I've been doing this. I didn't just go out. I've been, maybe not in great volume, but
you put your 10,000 hours in. And that's what you need to do to be great at anything. Like you said, in the moment training of 10,000 hours, not just here and there.
Right.
You have to be at it.
Right. Yeah. And you have to, like, we'll go back to where we started. You have to have that high give a shit factor. And it's interesting you said about the silent warriors. I think everybody is different. And I think some people are comfortable sharing their wins and losses, and some people aren't. And there's introverts, there's extroverts, right? I think the biggest thing you can do with a platform of any kind is be genuine and show people what's possible. That's all it is. That's it. What's possible, right? There are people that do it for the wrong reasons, for sure. They do it for the glory, right? I'm a firefighter. I don't care about trophies. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like, I'm here for someone to say, he did it, so can I. That's it, right? He was out of shape. Now he's in shape.
But he got back in shape.
He failed out of fire school. Now he's a smoke diver. It's crazy, and that's why I share. That's why I have my platform, and the internet can get misconstruing. People think you're doing things for certain reasons, and at the end of the day, I believe with what we have now, the ability to share a story, it's inspirational.
Absolutely. I mean, I see you, I see Eric, I see Jared, I see John, Fit to Fight Fire.
Yeah, shout out to John. I didn't even.
I see a lot of guys. I follow a lot of people, man. I don't care who you are. If you're doing work and you seem genuine, I'm gonna follow you, man. I'm gonna like you. I don't care who you are. If you work for a big department, small department, if I know you or didn't meet you, if you're doing work, man, that's all I can do is respect that.
That's it. So, let me ask you, Rick, where you're at right now in your career. What's the next challenge for you? What are you focusing in on? So guys, shout out to Rick, man. He's one of the best in the game with the photography stuff, man. And I've been trying to tell him, man, this is his next. He's gonna be the next Steven Spielberg. So we got to get you.
Still working on it, man. I'm just like you said. It's just this was something new to me. I just kind of like fell into it by accident, and I just loved it. And I'm still putting in my 10,000 hours.
Oh.
And it's a lot of work, man. And if anybody can do it, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I'm still working towards that goal. So thank you for the kind words. I still believe I have a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of improvement, but it's YouTube University and just doing a lot of shooting and taking a lot of bad pictures before I started to get better. And like I said, it's still a work in progress, man. And thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's one of those things I heard the last couple of days from some of my mentors that I got to spend some time with. Understand in this profession, in any profession, you can really be taught anything. Like there's so many resources out there. But do you care? Right? Because if you don't care, what are we really doing here? And in this profession, if you don't care, like you need to seek employment elsewhere. Like this is.
I just had this conversation today, and we were just doing some training, and we're doing some hose bundles, and we tell guys, don't eyeball it when you're building a bundle. You measure it, and you do it right. And you get to the end, and it's a little bit off, and we'll just put a Dutchman in it. I can't stand that.
Right.
No, we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it right. We're gonna measure it, and everything's gonna line up the way it should be. And it's just those little things, man.
Yeah. It's just having that high give a shit factor, man. You have to. You don't want to be put in a position where you have to say, "What if? What if I would have done it right?" Right. And let's get real deep here with life. What if I lived my life differently? What if I would have cared? What could I have done on this earth? Than just consume air and live my life on like I say, TiVo mode, where you just, repeat, and it's just the same recording over and over and over again. It's just like, not me. It can't be me. I truly believe that every day on earth is special, and it's our job to navigate the adversity, the struggle, the pain, and enjoy it, because that's the purpose of life. It's not, people are always saying, I want to be happy. Happiness is overrated. You know what I mean? It really is. I mean, like what the picture perfect. Me and Rick sitting on a beach in Mexico drinking pina coladas. I give us, maybe we get hammered one day. The next day we're gonna be like, all right, man, we got to figure some shit out, because
we got to burn some calories.
we got to do something. We can't sit here and drink pina coladas all day, And no matter who you are, that's just the reality. We got to have those challenges. We got to be met with, being awful at something, and then growing into this thing, man. So,
get humbled every once in a while.
Yeah. And it's just like watering the grass, man. People always say, well, the grass is greener on the other side. The grass is dead on both sides. The grass is dead on both sides.
Well, if you watered your own grass, you would be green too.
Whatever side you're going to put time and effort into is the side that's going to thrive and excel.
Exactly.
So, But Rick, man, thank you for having me, man. I love talking shop with you. It's
No, we got to do this again, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to this. When you asked me to tag along and help you, just tag along on your race, I was like, Eric and I we were happy. We were like, hey, we're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and it's not a race, man. It's just point to point.
It's what was that Japanese word? What you say it was?
Misogi.
It's misogi. I'm gonna steal that.
That's it.
Because I got to get my misogi this year and this year. And we talk about Eric about the combat challenge and just doing things better. I just need to get better as a photographer, videographer, and back to being one of the boys on the combat challenge. When you step on the course, you know the crowd is thick because everybody wants to see what that person is going to do. It's just like anything else. It's just
Absolutely.
like a buddy of mine. Shout out to Christian. But I can't believe I butchered his name. Chris. With a K. Can you believe that? Chris with a K. He did an Ironman. And to me, man, I haven't been that inspired in so long.
Aren't those events amazing?
Man, to just watch just regular, ordinary people
Do
swim
epic
2.5
shit.
miles, ride 112 miles, and then, hey, we're going to do a marathon just to top it off. To me, that was inspiring. I was just like, I think I might find a Mishogi.
That's it.
Dude, to me, that was great.
Yeah.
I mean, that was awesome. And then to follow it up, I think he even spoke about doing Leadville. So
Yeah.
looking forward to doing that too.
That's awesome,
Not
man.
me doing it. That's a goal in the future.
Yeah.
I'll probably, I'm good with 10K, maybe a half marathon for now, but I want to work my way up.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, bro. Well, it's the thing in life, man. All we can do is show up and set new benchmarks. That's it.
So where can some people find you? I'm on YouTube, Rick Stevens Media. Shameless plug. Where can people find you?
Yeah, no. So Instagram is the main page. Prepared to Fight Fire is the page that's got the most activity. For anybody out there that needs anything, shoot me a message. On there, there's a place to contact me. I have my phone number. Shoot me a text. Call me. Whatever you need. I'm really here to serve. Right. So that's my purpose. God has put me here to be a messenger. Right. I'm not the message. I'm just a messenger. So that's what we're doing.
Boom.
Thanks, bro.